fighting the last round of this fight against Zeus.
Well, I tell you what, it doesn't seem to be much help because Adam is backed up against the ropes again. Not yet. She's keeping top Bushido supervising personally as Zeus hammers down, furiously trying to end this thing once and for all. I gotta tell you folks, the champ looks tired. This robot seems to be running on empty. I don't believe it. Zeus, he's actually asking for more. Adam is riddled with the nightmares of Zeus's woes. Zeus' score is clearly depleted.
Welcome to the Stocks with Josh show. Bitcoin has been getting the beat down. It's been the underdog for the last year and some months, and it's definitely going to be a turnaround story. It's popped up unexpectedly, striking some blows at what everybody expected, going up above 20, 25, and recently we hit 28.8. Who called out 28.8? I called that exact number out, and that was just underneath the very top that we've hit recently. Where's it going to go next? I'm going to cover some very important charts. I'm going to cover some important Bitcoin stories. We're going to get completely caught up on what to expect with Bitcoin moving forward. This was an exciting day in the markets. A lot of you guys know how much I like to trade Alibaba, and Baba's had a really big day in the market. I'm going to have to hold my thoughts on Baba for tomorrow because today we're diving into crypto and Bitcoin, and I want to be extremely clear with all of you guys on what to expect in crypto. Where is it going next? What's going on with this story? Just like in the video I played at the beginning, what's the final ring count going to be? Who's going to emerge the victor? I'm telling you, it is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going up. There's going to be some zigzag before we get to the top, but I'm going to break that down for you guys in the charts today. I enjoyed Keenan Grace's video today. He talked about Bitcoin and the banks. It was a very interesting conversation about Bitcoin, and he brought up the subject of intrinsic value. What intrinsic value does Bitcoin have? And I thought it was interesting, and I'm just going to kind of share my thoughts. It's not necessarily a response to Keenan. I'm just adding to the conversation that he began. So I want to just say this, okay? Let's talk a little bit about cloud services. Cloud services, Amazon and Google, they offer cloud services. They've invested millions of dollars in warehouses that are air conditioned, that have servers on them with lots of speed that provide access, people that have access to the World Wide Web, access to cloud services, access to their data. Anywhere in the world, they can sign on and they can get encrypted and go through an encryption process and they can access their very important data. These cloud services are essentially, apart from who's using them, they're essentially worthless. They have no intrinsic value. If you powered down the lights, all you could do is potentially sell it off for parts and you wouldn't get any of your money back. but what it represents is what it can do. Okay, and it's very similar to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been the store of value that it represents is millions and millions of dollars of electricity and assets that were invested into mining and providing a processing point for the blockchain of Bitcoin. So all the transactions could be processed. And that lays a very large financial foundation for what we know to be Bitcoin. That is similar to cloud services. In and of themselves, they don't actually do or produce anything, but it's a place where business can be done. And I just wanted to relay that idea that Bitcoin is essentially a place where there can be a store of value that can be absolutely critical when you're wanting to put resources somewhere where they can't be touched, where it's decentralized. It's not tied to a government. It's not tied to a policy. It's tied to the blockchain, which cannot be cracked. This is essentially the store of value. This is the intrinsic value of Bitcoin. I think it's a deep conversation whether Bitcoin has or does not have intrinsic value, but I just wanted to relay it to how I view it. It's got a value very similar to the cloud services that Amazon and Google offer. The value is sort of an isolation. It's a store of value, and it's your personal ability to utilize it just the way companies utilize the cloud service that enables them to get what they want out of it. They want to go in and they want to grab their data. They want it to be secure. They then can pull it back to themselves. Very similarly, crypto, Bitcoin in particular, is a store of value, a store of money. You've got the ability to put it out there, and then you can go anywhere in the world and you can reconnect to any device and you can go and snatch it back, just like pulling it out of the cloud. This is absolutely brand new, and I think the world is still trying to figure out how it fits into the rest of global currency, economies, and finance. It's unfolding, and that's what I want to get to today, guys. Let's talk about some of the kings of Bitcoin. Michael Saylor. You know, there was so much FUD surrounding Michael Saylor. They're saying that he was going to get liquidated, that his very large borrowed position that he was in over his head. There was so much fear, people mocking him. Oh, what a fool you are now, Michael Saylor. You know, you've gone too far down the path of Bitcoin. You're going to end up shipwrecked. But let's see what's happened. MicroStrategy repays the $205 million Bitcoin collateralized loan in the full at a 22% discount for $160 million. They were able to get the job done early and get it done cheaper. Then they've acquired an additional 6,455 Bitcoin, and they now hold 138,955 Bitcoin, making them one of the largest holders of Bitcoin in the world. And it just proves that the Bitcoin story is not collapsing. It's not unwinding. People that have gotten on board the Bitcoin ship are not being made fools of, but quite the opposite. Michael Saylor is making a fool of all the doomsdayers, all the Bitcoin haters right now. And I want to take you guys to another chart that I found visually very appealing. It's made by a group called Stock Money Lizards. And what they basically are showing is a weekly candle chart of Bitcoin throughout the history or life of Bitcoin that shows, so each candle represents a week in Bitcoin, open and close at the beginning and ending of the week. And it shows that every single time the price has crossed over that 50-day moving average, every single time it has led to a monumental blow up top. And guys, we've had the crossover again. Bitcoin is performing exactly as it has in every other cycle. Now, there are differences. Bitcoin does not have the same momentum that it once had when it started off and you could get it for $1. Bitcoin has been slowing its progress, but in the last cycle, we saw a 1,100% return after the moment that we're in right now, when we were back in this same moment back in 2019. So here we are. Now, we may not have a 1,100% return. We could have a 200% return. We could have a 300% return. We could have a 400% return. But what that means is that we're going to get a Bitcoin that's way up there at 80 to 100,000, potentially at bare minimum. That's a prediction. Nobody knows the future. We don't know what will happen on Bitcoin. But right now, it's staying consistent. And those who have bet on it, like Michael Saylor, are continuing to win. And then I want to show you guys one more great chart that I think is just very visually satisfying at this moment for those of us who have gotten behind Bitcoin, believed in it. Dollar cost average down through the winter was very consistent. Man, it's payday for us. That's another thing that Keenan pointed out. He's like, man, look at my Bitcoin. I'm up 8-9 grand in just the last month. We're getting back to that payday. All right, this chart, I tried to reproduce this chart. It looks to me like a monthly candle looking at each of the bull runs that we've had with crypto, with Bitcoin, and it shows 2012, 2016, 2019, and then now. I couldn't reproduce it. I don't know what their exact time frame is. Each of their candles, it's not a month, it's not 2 months, maybe it's 6 weeks. I don't know. But the point is that we've had a very similar amount of red candles that have ran into an exponential, significantly greater top, and we've had that longer period, and it's setting up, and I just wanted you guys to visually look at it. This is exactly what happens when we get to the spot that we're in. We simply move up over time. So, but what exactly is going to happen? Is it buy right now? Is it wait? What are the price points? I'm going to give them to you in just a minute. I'm going to briefly touch on the S&P 500, but really this whole video is going to be about Bitcoin. Before I do, if you guys need better trade tools, then you can click on the link in the top pinned comment for the Moomoo investment app. They're giving away up to 17 free stock for opening and funding an account. You can click on that link and get all of the details. I use Moomoo every day. I had a great time getting back into the chat today. If you're part of the chat, throw a heart in the comments section for me. Again, guys, thank you. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you for hitting the like, hit subscribe, and all YouTube notifications bell to get daily stock and crypto videos and insights. I want to cover a couple things. I'm only going to mention this for your guys' sake, not because I'm wanting to be defensive. Someone said in the comments section about ETH, they said, isn't this the guy that sold his ETH at 1,700? And the answer is yes, I am the guy that sold my ETH at 1,700, which was a near perfect sell, take profit price. And then when it fell down below 1,400, I got on Friday and I made a video and said, guys, the plan was to buy at 1,400. It's down here in the depths at 1,400. There's blood in the streets. It's a little bit scary, but I'm loading back up. So if you're not watching every single video, you really don't know what's going on this page. Yes, we locked in profits at 1,700 and we have been able to dip in again at 1,400. And yes, we're way up again. We've traded ETH on this page more than once, and every single time it's led to profit. And I have accurately told everybody that Bitcoin was going to 24, 25K when it was down at 20K and 21K. And then after we came off 25K and we were back falling back to 22, I said, guys, we're going up to 28. And I even specifically said, we're going up to 28.8. And we got all the way up to 28,900. Amazingly close to the very, very top, locked in profits, and right now we're waiting for it to come back. I think that we could get around 24,200. That's the reload up zone, and I have no indication whatsoever, especially when I look at the charts that I gave you guys, and I know that I'm in good company with guys like Michael Saylor because I hold a lot of that same conviction. I believe that we're going to get to 30 to 32K on Bitcoin in the days ahead. It's coming up very quickly. Everyone's going to be given another opportunity to buy, and it's going to be just as difficult and scary to buy when we're down at 24.2 and everybody's saying the run is over, it's a dark day, it's going to drop down to 22.19, back to 12 and 10 is what a lot of people are saying. You guys know that I called the bottom back when we were between 15 and 17K. I called that bottom then, and right now it's holding up. We're going to have to see how the future holds. But I think we're going to get back to 24,200, and then I believe that we're going to take off up to 32K. I wanted you guys to know where I clearly stood. Right now, I'm in ETH. I have not locked in any profits. ETH is moving a little different than Bitcoin, so it can't be timed one for one. And I'm not selling my ETH when my Bitcoin hits its top. I'm holding my ETH a little bit longer. I also noticed today, I'll just briefly comment, that Matic was on a critical support. So this would be a decent buy area for Matic. However, the alts are not performing in sync right now with Bitcoin. So you need to be careful. You might consider setting a stop loss unless you have a very far, long view. Matic could break down. If it broke down at this current level between $1 to $1.04 and got back into the 90-cent range, the truth is it could explore and find a bottom easily going all the way back to 70 cents. You need to be mindful of that. So it depends on your timeline when you're looking at trading Matic. Personally, I'm happy to buy Matic under $1, and if it broke down, I would just keep buying it all through this accumulation phase. Alts will move differently than Bitcoin. They'll move differently than Ethereum. They'll have their own run-up and profit-taking scenario. So that's it for today. I'm going to briefly just comment on the S&P 500 that we are seeing a close above the 50-day moving average. And I think that if we get 1 or 2 days of a definitive close with some volume above the 50-day moving average, I think we're potentially going to see a push higher. Now, I also had some questions in the chat group about my view of April being a bullish month. Yes, I believe that April has a potential of being a bullish month, but it only has to be higher at the end of the month than it was at the start of the month. So the bottom line is I think that we could fall between now and even the first week into April. And then in the remaining months of April, we could recover. So I'm in an SQQQ trade, which is a bearish view of the market, which means that I think we could have some downside right now over the next 10 days. I'll be looking to take profit, right? And then if we get that additional pop up, if we get that additional move back up, when we get back up near the end of April, it perhaps could yield another opportunity to get into the SQQQ again. I'm in it right now, which means that my micro view of the markets is that there is potential to the downside. My bigger monthly view is that there's potential to the upside. I'll give you my logic. The bottom line is we're going to get a potential. We're going to get that rate hike in the early part of May. And so I think between now and then, the markets can just be calm and could potentially move upwards. I think that when we get to May, we're going to have to process what the Fed does, and that could bring some turbulence. Thank you guys for chiming in. Thank you for hitting that like. Hit the subscribe. Join the family. Come and get the Moomoo investment app. Start investing today. Get the free stock. And then come find the chat group that I host on the app called Stock Josh Fam. We've got great conversations, a great community over there. I enjoy being part of it. I'm glad to be back in it right now. I'm still a little bit under the weather, but I'm going to try to keep giving you guys these videos. Love to all of you guys. I wish you great success in all of your trading. Peace and blessings, my friends. Take care.